Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy CV Tech One coming at you live, direct once again with another reaction video. And this time we're going to react to 10 amazing facts about Australia. And the reason I wanted to do this video is because I've done so much AFL and people are giving me so much information about the AFL league in Australia, and some of the lingo that these guys are using in the comment section is a little bit confusing. And then when I do ask, they do clarify it. So I love it. And I got to thinking, why not learn a little bit more about Australia, since not only am I watching the sports, I'm actually communicating with people who actually lives in Australia. And I think that's amazing. The fact that I'm watching even Australian television now because of the sport is crazy to me, because it just started happening about 2.5 weeks ago. So let's learn some facts about Australia. And if there's anything that you think you can add to it, I said put in the comment section below. And let's try to get this video to 50 likes if we can. And shout outs and big love to everybody who's been subbing, clicking the like. I appreciate you, man. So let's get into it, man. 10 amazing facts. Okay, amazing.
Welcome to Top 10 Archive. As we return to our trip around the globe, we're stopping in a rather revered country.
Turn up the volume a little bit.
As we digitally travel to the land down under, we're going to meet 300 jolly
And down
we'll
and
see
die.
what Mama's got cooking for all your Wally siblings. We'll yabber.
Well, I've been watching a lot of cooking stuff on.
Buckley's chance you'll be disappointed. This video, as Australians would call it, is the Dinky D.
It's the
Number
Dinky
10,
what?
Australia's innovations.
Dinky D.
Many people likely don't associate Australia with innovations, or really anything outside of kangaroos.
Like what?
But the country has been home to some great innovators. Some of the earliest inventors were Australia's Aboriginal population, who invented the boomerang some 10,000 years ago. In the
Wait, okay. This is going to be a terrible question, okay? But what's a boomerang for? And is it true when you throw it, it comes back? Or is it because the cartoon in America has me to believe you can throw a boomerang and it comes right back to you? I know it sounds like a stupid question, but that's the cartoons we watch. I know it's cartoons, but that if you throw a boomerang, it's going to come back to you. And what is a boomerang used for? Is it to get, I don't know, is it to kill? Is it to get something out of a tree like a fruit? What was the boomerang made for? I'm asking a legit question here, okay? Please help me out.
century alone, Australian inventors were churning out products that we still use on a regular basis today, such as notepads configured by stationer J.A. Burchell,
Notepad.
Dr. David Warren's black box flight recorder, and the Power Strip, originally developed by Peter Talbot. Other notable firsts include the first feature-length film, The Story of the Kelly Gang, the first refrigerator, and more locally used items like the didgeridoo, a wooden musical instrument. For the girls watching this, you know those Ugg boots you love so much?
Refrigerator, man?
That's right. Thank Australia the next time you...
Wait, did he say the girls need to thank Australia for the Uggs? Like if I turn around right now, look over there, my girlfriend has an Ugg right next to the door. She has 2 pairs of Uggs right next to the door. But it's not only women who are happy about the Uggs. Tom Brady, one of my favorite football player, he wears Uggs. He's happy about it.
Slip them on.
It ain't just women.
Number 9, famous Australians. Sure, we all know Heath Ledger, Jeffrey Rush, Kate Blanchett, Paul Hogan, Nicole Kidman,
those are
Hugh
big
Jackman,
names.
Mel Gibson as certified Australians. But there's more.
You got bigger names
down under than great Hollywood talent. 2000 Sydney Olympic winner Kathy Freeman, who took gold in the 400
Never heard of
run,
Kathy
did
Freeman.
her country proud, as did 1973 Nobel Prize winner Patrick White. Radio's blast out tunes from the country's musical stars Keith Urban, Kylie Minogue.
Keith Urban's Australian? What?
And
I didn't know that.
John, as our eyes are treated to works of art by artists.
I thought he was like from down south in America. He's a cowboy.
Let's also not forget the stunning personality of Steve Irwin.
That's the man right there.
Australia for much of the world.
I love Steve.
Number 8, Australian cuisine.
Love that dude, man.
Don't let Outback Steakhouse fool you. Australian cuisine is far more interesting than a blossoming...
I so agree with this, man. Because I've been watching a lot of Australian TV, like I said. And I've been watching the Food Channel. I'm going to get this wrong. I can't remember if it was an alligator. No, was it an alligator they were eating? I know I've made that comment before, and somebody got on me, and someone said we don't have that down here. Isn't it? Might be an alligator, okay? But someone was barbecuing it, man, and and they had people come up and try, and people were just loving it, man. I'm like, you know what? I like to try out different food, so I don't need to be eating hot dog and hamburgers all day out here in America. I come from a country where food is a big part of the culture. You know what I mean? And, like me, my favorite food is goat meat, white rice, oxtail. Man, we're having a party.
Tray of onions and steaks. In fact, for a restaurant that prides itself on its down under style, it's missing a well-known Australian staple, Vegemite. Beyond the yeasty food paste, indigenous and more traditional Australians
Vegemite
are known to dine
sounds like a
on
TNT.
the tea grub, a wood-eating larvae. Should an almond-tasting insect not whet your appetite, maybe something sweeter like lemon.
Vegemite. I'm not saying it's nasty or anything. I just never heard of that. And they actually sell that. I need to try.
Or
I need to try.
Barbecued snacks will hit the spot. Those crazy Aussies are also known for their love for meat pies, macadamia nuts,
I hear about meat pies all day. When it comes to AFL,
Number 7, tourist attractions.
you need a beer and meat pie.
As you should and can expect with any country you've yet to travel to, Australia is
Sydney.
home to quite an array of attractions and sights
I know
worth
Sydney.
making the trip for. One of its more notable buildings is the Sydney Opera House,
Yeah.
a venue for concerts, local theater,
Beautiful,
and
man.
so much more. History buffs may enjoy visiting the Shrine of Remembrance, which was built to commemorate and honor the 19,000 Victorians that perished during the First World War.
Wow.
Thalassophobics are going to want to stay away from the Great Barrier Reef, but anyone with a keen interest in
That-
nature should
the
get
reef's
a
is
kick
like
out of this system of
out of this world.
2,900 reefs and 900 islands.
Yeah.
Additional attractions include Port Jackson, Blue Mountain, Tasmania, and the Great Ocean
I've heard of Tasmania. Beautiful name. Love that name, by the way. It's like when I say Burkina Faso in Africa. I love those names, man.
Road. Number 6, Australia's wildlife.
Okay.
We may have seen some
I know
of
a few.
Australia's indigenous
The
wildlife
kangaroo.
tucked safely within some cave, but there's nothing like seeing them in their
Oh, those
natural
little dogs.
habitat.
I forgot what they call
Critters
them.
like the Tasmanian devil, a tiny creature Mel Blanc turned into a whirlwind of a beast, or the
That's why I like the name, because of that Tasmanian Devil cartoon. See, that's the thing about America. They'll take like a fact and turn it into a cartoon. So when I sound stupid, when I asked about the boomerang, that's what they did. They put it in our cartoon and you throw it and it comes right back. Does it do that? I don't know. So I'm just asking the question.
equally cute wombat.
What about koala?
We'd be doing a disservice to not name the expected animals like the kangaroo, koala, or baby-eating dingo.
Dingo.
But we also don't want to leave out the tiny kookaburra or the long-nosed fur seal found on the southern coast of Australia. There is, of course,
Yes, I do talk a lot. I pause. I'm sorry. But as I watch AFL, I'm trying to see, especially the teams that has the animals, and I'm trying to see if they use any of these animals. I'm surprised they don't have a Tasmanian or a kangaroo as, part of the logo of a AFL team. Maybe that's just like simple and expected, so they don't use it. But I think that would be a Tasmanian devil team. That would be crazy.
there's the myriad of deadly creatures
I would
like
like
the
that.
cone snail, cassowary, stonefish, just to name a few. Oh, and how did we forget the platypus, the beaver's ugly cousin? Or is the beaver the platypus's ugly cousin? Well, actually, according to experts, they aren't related at all, as the platypus is only related to one other animal in the rare
Porcupine?
monotremes family, the echidna. So, yeah,
That's not even a
that joke didn't go
porcupine.
as expected. Blame the riders. Number 5,
Goodness.
Australian Gold Rush. The United States of America isn't the only
I've been watching a lot of Gold
experience
Rush
a
in
gold
Australia,
rush.
to be honest with you
During
guys.
the 19th century,
I watched those
specifically
shows.
1851, Edward Hargraves stumbled across a small speck of gold near Bathurst. Post-discovery, Hargraves dubbed the gold site Ophir, was
But the
named
heat
Commissioner of the
is
land,
crazy.
received a life pension, and inadvertently started a gold rush in Australia. By 1852, 370,000 immigrants landed in Australia in hopes of cashing in on the boom in mining.
There's still a
As
lot of
it
gold
usually
there,
is when
man.
money is involved, tensions rose between the miners and authorities over goldfield licensing.
Yep.
leading 1,000 men proclaiming an oath at the Eureka Stockade to defend their rights and liberties. After intervention from Melbourne troops, 22 of the 1,000 were killed, and Eureka was reclaimed. Number 4.
I've heard of that name. Eureka? I don't know. Man, let me leave that alone.
Australian ballot. In 1856, the states of Victoria and South Australia introduced a new system of voting that many countries still utilize today.
I know that place because of the AFL.
Ballot, and later the secret ballot. This voting method made it possible for voters to be able to cast a ballot in privacy. As the protection of the voters became a growing concern across the globe, the United States and parts of Europe adopted the Aussie means of voting. Traditionally, the means of privacy is a ballot box or booth of a specific
Which makes sense to me.
The voters are given uniform cards and a uniform means of marking said card. More modern voting methods.
It's just like today, people want to tell you who they voted for. I remember back in my day, like that's one thing I really didn't care. I didn't care who you voted for. Like people would be friends with each other based on things they like and not who they voted for. You know, that was like a kind of a secret in a weird way, right? It's like, it's kind of personal. So if you can't ask a woman her age or her weight, it was kind of sort of the same thing. It's like, you shouldn't be asking people who they voted for. You know, it's one of those things like it just doesn't come up. But now everybody's just loud and proud about it. And then next thing you know, they hate each other. So I don't know. Go figure.
Have turned to electronic methods, which tend to be under constant scrutiny in the United States.
Of course.
Number 3, Australian holidays. Despite being seemingly in its own world, the country of Australia and the people that devote themselves to it have experienced loss during some of the world's most trying times.
What holidays do they have?
To commemorate those that gave their lives during the First World War, which is the first major military action fought by both Australian and New Zealand forces, Aussies celebrate Anzac Day. Anzac Day specifically points towards the landing of Gallipoli on April 25, 1915. During the battle on the peninsula, Australia saw a loss of 8,000 soldiers against the Turkish defenders, who wound up pushing Allied forces into a defeat.
Australian Turkish?
For both Australia and New Zealand, the battle molded a legendary image for the members of the Australian and New Zealand.
This is the type of stuff I love to learn in other parts of the world that you don't even hear.
Records, Australia isn't exempt from these feats, even when it comes to comedic value. In December of 2015, some 320 Australians took to the waves, breaking the record for most
Santa Claus,
Santas
bro.
at one location. In November of 2015,
That's funny.
David Richards broke a record for most bulbs on a Christmas tree by stringing 518,838 LED lights on a 22-meter or 72-foot tree in Canberra to raise money for families affected by sudden infant death syndrome.
Oh, wow.
On March 28, 2008, Daredevil Robbie Madison broke the record for the longest motorcycle ramp jump at 106.98 meters, or roughly 351 feet, at the Krusty Demons Night of World Records at Calder Park Raceway in Melbourne, Victoria,
that is
Australia.
far.
Number 1, the island of misfit boys. When you don't want someone in your presence, you find a way to banish them. In 1788, England did exactly that by deporting approximately 763 convicts to Australia, which was to act as a prison colony. Over 50,000 criminals in 60 years were brought to the land down under, but it was about more than rehabilitation. In fact, it was widely believed by England's upper class that criminals were defective, could not be rehabilitated, and simply needed to be separated from those that lacked such defects. In this colony, prisoners were not kept behind bars, but conditions were grim. Sadistic volunteers from Great Britain oversaw prisoners, kept strict rules, and harsh punishments.
Wow. Hey, man, this was a good video, man. Inventor of the refrigerator, black box, and electrical strips. Bro, we all have them in our houses today. Never knew it came from down under, man. So shout out to Australians, man. Listen, man, I love all cultures, man. And so, you know, like I said, we've been doing a lot of sports from Australia. And just replying back to a lot of people that are in Australia, and me replying back to them, you know, it feels great, man. So why not learn about your country, right? And yeah, man, if there's any more videos and you think I should watch, even if it's about Australia, like I said, we did sports. I want to know about the military, the food, Also music. Why not, man? And then, you know, we'll move on to another place. But yeah, man, shout outs to the Australian fan base. You guys are showing me a lot of love, and I appreciate you guys. So yeah, anything you guys want to recommend, put it down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.